There comes a moment in every person's life where it feels like everything is working against them. Like no matter how hard you try, push, strive, or give, it's just not happening. The doors don't open, the people don't show up, the results don't match the effort. And in that silence, in that delay, in that space between I tried and it still didn't happen, something dangerous creeps in. Doubt. You start questioning your value. You start wondering if maybe you don't deserve it after all. But let me tell you something. The universe is not deaf to your labor. It is not blind to your discipline. It is not ignoring your struggle. What you're asking for is being built in silence, delivered in timing, and filtered through preparation. See, there is a process at work even when you can't see it. The problem is we're so addicted to speed that we've lost the discipline of stillness. And yet it is in stillness that the universe aligns the right opportunities, the right people, the right moment. Not because you sat and did nothing, but because you chose not to panic when things didn't move at your pace. Pressure makes people react, but power makes people wait. There is a version of you already walking in the future you've prayed for, fought for, worked for. But to reach it, you have to hold your peace long enough for the path to rise beneath your feet. That's why you can't afford to break in the middle. You're not being ignored, you're being positioned. There's a difference. So stay calm. Because when you learn to stop forcing and start flowing, you give space for what you actually deserve to find you. There's something deeply unsettling about silence. When you've done everything right, put in the work, stayed consistent, pushed through pain, and yet nothing seems to be shifting, the quiet can feel like rejection. But here's the truth most people miss. Silence doesn't mean absence. It means preparation. Think about nature for a moment. A seed buried in the soil doesn't make noise. It doesn't shout or scream or post updates about its growth. But underground, it's going through a transformation. That seed, even though unseen, is changing, breaking, reaching. Roots are forming, a foundation is being built. You can't rush it. You can't see it. But you better believe it's happening. That's how your journey works too. When you've given your best and still hear nothing, no calls back, no open doors, no breakthroughs, it's easy to believe you've been forgotten. But what if that silence isn't rejection at all? What if it's the universe getting the timing just right? What if it's protecting you from stepping into something too early, something your character isn't ready to sustain? There's a story of this one principle that captures this. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven." That's not just a nice quote. It's a blueprint. Every purpose has a time. Every vision has a season. So the silence you're sitting in, it's not a void. It's a pause between the planting and the revealing, the time between preparation and manifestation. Let's take another example. Think of construction. When a skyscraper is being built, most people are impressed once the floors start rising. But that's not where the real work began. Before the first beam ever rises above ground, there's months, sometimes years of groundwork. They dig deep, pour concrete, reinforce the foundation. It's the part no one applauds, no one sees, but it's the part that holds everything else together. If you rush it, the whole building crumbles. The same applies to your life. What you're asking for, a promotion, a relationship, a dream, a breakthrough, it's tall, it's significant, and tall things require deep roots. So if the universe seems silent right now, maybe it's digging your foundation. Maybe it's getting the unseen parts of you stable so the visible parts can stand. But here's the real question. Can you stay focused in the quiet? Can you keep watering your seed when there's no sign of growth yet? Can you trust the process when the progress is invisible? Most people quit in the silence. They start looking for noise, for validation, for shortcuts. They trade purpose for attention and roots for results. But if you truly want what you say you want, you've got to learn to sit in the stillness and know something is working in your favor, even if you don't see it yet. Silence is not absence. It's a sacred space where preparation does its best work. Stillness is a strategy, not weakness. But we live in a world where movement equals meaning. Everyone's in a rush to do something, post something, be something, because stillness is uncomfortable. It makes you feel like you're falling behind, like you're losing time. But what if stillness isn't the enemy? What if it's actually the hidden weapon of the wise? In warfare, not every move is forward. Sometimes the greatest advantage comes in the pause, when a general steps back, surveys the battlefield, and repositions the troops. To someone watching from the outside, it might look like hesitation, but it's not fear, it's focus. And when the strike finally comes, it's precise, powerful, and unstoppable. That's how your life works too. When things get quiet and you feel like nothing's moving, you have two choices. React out of fear or remain grounded in strategy. Because sometimes the best thing you can do is not move. Sometimes the strength is not in acting, but in resisting the impulse to act out of panic. That kind of discipline, that kind of restraint is where real power lives. There's a story I once heard about a chess master. He said the most dangerous player isn't the one who makes moves quickly. It's the one who can sit in silence, watching the board, waiting for the opponent to reveal a weakness. That's stillness with intent. And that's what you need in the seasons where life feels slow. What if your stillness isn't you being stuck, but you being sharpened? See, we've been taught that action equals progress, but not all action is forward. Some movements dig you deeper into chaos. Some responses come from wounds, not wisdom. And if you're always moving just to feel like you're achieving, you'll miss the moments when the right move was actually no move at all. Have you ever made a decision too fast, out of frustration, fear, or pressure, and then regretted it later? That's what happens when you mistake noise for clarity. But when you practice stillness, you give yourself space to hear what's real. You learn to tell the difference between pressure and purpose. You stop reacting and start responding. Even nature respects the power of stillness. A lion doesn't chase every noise in the jungle. It waits, watches, and strikes only when the moment is right. That's not weakness. That's strategy. And maybe that's what you need right now. Not another plan, not another hustle, not another push, but a pause. A moment of stillness where you remember who you are, what you're building, and why it matters. Because when your decisions are made from that place, they're unshakable. Stillness is not doing nothing. It's doing the inner work while the outer world rushes around you. It's building discipline in the dark so that when your time comes, you move with precision, not panic. So maybe this season isn't about acceleration. Maybe it's about alignment. Maybe it's not about how fast you can go, but how clear you can become before you go. What you deserve is being aligned, not denied. But that's hard to believe when it feels like you're doing everything right and still getting overlooked. The opportunity goes to someone else. The door closes, the timing misses, and somewhere deep inside you start asking, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe it's just not for me. But hear this, denial is not always the answer. Sometimes it's divine alignment in disguise. We often assume that because something didn't happen when we wanted it, it means it wasn't meant to be. But that's not always true. Life doesn't just give you what you want, it gives you what you're ready to carry. And what's in harmony with your growth, not just your desire. Think of it like flying. Before a plane takes off, there's a checklist. Not just the destination, not just the fuel, but every part of that aircraft has to be aligned and cleared for launch. Even if the passengers are ready, even if the schedule says go, if the mechanics find one issue, they delay it. Not because you're not supposed to go, but because you're not supposed to crash. Sometimes that delay you hate is the very thing saving your destiny. That job you didn't get, it may have taken you away from your real purpose. That person who walked away, they might have blocked your growth. That timing you thought was perfect, it might have been too early for the version of you that was still becoming. So stop interpreting every delay as denial. You don't even know what dangers you've been protected from. And here's something that will stretch your thinking. What if the universe isn't just preparing your blessing, but also preparing you for the blessing? Because a gift given too early is a burden. Success without character becomes stress. Power without wisdom becomes destruction. So alignment means that not only does the opportunity fit you, but that you have grown to fit the opportunity. There's a difference between wanting something and being equipped to sustain it. And if you receive what you're not emotionally, mentally, or strategically prepared for, you won't just lose it, you'll break under it. So yes, you deserve the dream. You deserve the elevation. You deserve the peace and the prosperity, but you also deserve the process that makes you strong enough to hold it when it comes. Think about a magnet for a second. It doesn't chase after metal. It simply aligns with what it's drawn to. And when the force is right, it pulls. That's how your life works too. You don't have to chase what's yours. You just have to be in the right position, the right mindset, and the right alignment for it to be drawn to you. But you can't align if you're always rushing. You can't align if you're constantly questioning your worth every time something takes longer than expected. And you definitely can't align if you keep comparing your timeline to someone else's. Alignment is internal, it's personal, and it's powerful. So maybe nothing is wrong. Maybe you're not being punished. Maybe you're just in the phase where everything around you is being organized. So when it comes, it doesn't just arrive, it stays. Panic reacts. Patience attracts. In the face of uncertainty, most people panic. It's the natural reflex. Something doesn't go as planned, a door doesn't open, the silence gets louder, and suddenly we start scrambling, making rushed decisions, saying things we don't mean, settling for less because we fear nothing better is coming. But panic is a trap. It's emotional noise that drowns out the quiet instructions that only patience can hear. You can't attract what's truly meant for you if you're constantly chasing what's just convenient. Panic is the voice of fear. It whispers, "You're running out of time." It says, "Everyone else is ahead of you." It tricks you into thinking that movement is always better than stillness. But patience, that's the voice of wisdom. Patience says, hold your position. The right thing is on its way. Don't move unless it's in alignment. And let's be honest, most mistakes weren't made because we lacked opportunity. They were made because we didn't wait long enough for clarity. We grabbed what was easy instead of waiting for what was excellent. We reacted instead of reflecting. We chose noise over nuance. Have you ever watched someone try to force a locked door open? They push, pull, jiggle the handle, maybe even kick it, but it doesn't open. Then someone else walks up with the right key, and with one simple turn, the door opens smoothly. That's the difference between panic and patience. One exhausts you, the other empowers you. Now ask yourself, what are you trying to force open that simply isn't your door or isn't your time? Patience is not passivity, it's controlled energy. It's the ability to manage your emotions in the delay without compromising your future. It's knowing how to breathe when everything in you wants to run. It's having the strength to believe that the things meant for you will find you, not when you beg for them, but when you become ready for them. And this isn't about just sitting still doing nothing. It's about working on yourself while you wait. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent, spiritually grounded, mentally clear, so that when the opportunity shows up, you don't fumble it. Panic will have you out of position when your moment arrives. Patience will have you ready. There's a principle here. Think of it like a bow and arrow. Before an arrow can be launched forward, it first has to be pulled back. That pullback isn't a setback, it's a setup. But if the archer panics and releases too soon, the arrow loses its force and misses the target. Timing matters. Stillness matters. The right release at the right moment changes everything. So the next time the pressure rises, ask yourself, is this situation calling me to act or to trust? Not everything needs a reaction. Not every feeling needs a follow-up. Sometimes the most powerful move is the one you don't make. Patience doesn't just protect you, it prepares you. It makes you magnetic. Because when you're calm, clear, and confident in your direction, what's aligned with you is drawn to you. You don't chase it, you meet it. So when the tension builds, when the world speeds up around you, when doubt starts yelling in your ear, stay centered. Breathe. And remember, what's meant for you moves on a frequency that can only be tuned into through peace. You are being positioned, not punished. But let's be real. When life feels heavy, when things fall apart, when people leave, and when everything seems to be going in the opposite direction of what you planned, it's easy to think you're being punished, that maybe you did something wrong, that maybe life has forgotten your name. But what if that detour you hate is the exact direction you need? What if what looks like a breakdown is actually a setup? Most people confuse discomfort with punishment, but growth has a price. Transition is uncomfortable. Becoming who you were always meant to be doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes with stretching, silence, surrender, and sometimes even separation. Have you ever seen a GPS reroute you? You're on a certain road, and suddenly it says, recalculating. At first, it's frustrating. But if you keep following it, eventually you realize it's leading you to the destination in a better way, maybe a clearer road, maybe less traffic, maybe away from danger you didn't even know was there. The path changed, but the promise didn't. That's how positioning works. You thought you were supposed to go one way, but then the job fell through, the relationship ended, the plan collapsed, and all you could see was loss. But what if it wasn't loss? It was redirection. What if the universe was moving pieces around so that your arrival would be right, not rushed? Sometimes you're not being held back. You're being held in place until the timing, the people, and the environment are right. That's not punishment. That's precision. Think of a puzzle. Each piece is shaped in a specific way to fit in a specific space. If you try to force the wrong piece into the wrong spot, it doesn't work. It might even damage the whole picture. You're a piece in a bigger picture. And your positioning matters. You may not like where you are right now, but trust, there is a place where your shape, your experience, your timing, your talent, it all fits perfectly. But here's the part no one talks about. Positioning is quiet. It's behind the scenes. No applause, no spotlight. Just a slow, silent work of being put exactly where you belong. And that can feel lonely. But don't confuse loneliness with loss. Don't confuse quiet with punishment. Sometimes isolation is the bridge between preparation and elevation. The best players don't always love practice, but they know that if they skip it, they won't be ready when it's game time. Life works the same way. If you're being pulled out of some things right now, don't panic. You're not being erased, you're being refined. And when the moment comes, you'll see why it had to happen this way. Ask yourself, is this a setback or is this a shift? Because the way you see it changes how you survive it. If you believe you're being punished, you'll resist the process. But if you believe you're being positioned, you'll trust the process, even when it's painful. So hold your ground. Stop rushing to escape what's actually molding you. Stay available, stay aware, because sometimes the very thing you're trying to escape is the platform being built beneath you. So now you know silence is not your enemy, stillness is not weakness, delay is not denial, and discomfort is not punishment. Everything you've walked through, every closed door, every silent season, every time you had to hold your breath and trust without evidence, it was all part of a bigger design. You weren't being buried, you were being planted. This is your moment to shift your perspective. Stop questioning your worth just because the wait feels long. Stop reacting in panic and start moving with power. What's meant for you is still coming, not because you begged for it, but because you've been becoming the person who can carry it. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not broken. You are being aligned. You are being refined. You are being positioned. And when the moment comes, and it will come, you won't just be ready, you'll be unstoppable. So stay calm. Let the universe do its work. You do yours. Prepare, focus, heal, hold your ground. Because what you deserve is on its way, and it's coming with precision, not permission. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for allowing these words to walk with you. Keep rising.